Slaughterhouse. They were all solo MCs trying to make it in a different climate in hip hop. That's all
It
I'm
didn't
saying.
drop though till after it was recorded.
All right,
It was
all y'all that
recorded
listen to,
prior, but it didn't drop until after.
all y'all that listen to the Slaughter album, was Nino Bless on there?
No.
Then it's all invalid. It's all bullshit. It ain't
He's
nothing
only
but a clout grab.
to make a
It's
diss
the
track.
only reason why they dropped this album is because their last album was doodle. It didn't do nothing, and it blamed it on the
It
pandemic.
was
What
the
the fuck?
pandemic though.
Who wasn't listening to the
They couldn't
Who
roll
wasn't
it.
listening to music all through the pandemic?
Wait. They couldn't roll it out the way they wanted to when it dropped. They
Yeah,
couldn't
he got a
go. They
point.
couldn't go do anything because at that time, everything was quarantined down.
You couldn't do shows.
What the fuck rollout is this? Oh, we're gonna go diss our old album. We're gonna go diss our old band members to make an album now because we dope and we tired of this shit. You ain't
This
tired of
album
nothing.
is
It's
not a
all
diss
fucking
though.
corny.
If Roy
It's
That
But they
all
album's
rolled it
not
corny.
a
out. They
diss.
rolled it out
They're
like
gonna
it was
forever
gonna be a
look
diss
like
album.
they're forever gonna look like idiots after this.
Yo,
Idiot.
whoever's talking, did you listen to the album?
Hell
Talk to me
no.
about the
I'm
album.
not stupid.
So you don't know what you're talking about. That's what you're
I
saying.
don't
You're
have to
talking
listen
about an
to it.
album you
Did
ain't
you
hear.
listen to the Hard album?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Then why
like
the fuck would you even support this bullshit?
It's fans like you that don't
You're a fucking
appreciate hip
moron.
hop.
So check this out. Check this out. This is a rule I have. It's really difficult to argue with someone who didn't listen to the album that we're discussing.
Why would I listen to it?
So dog, you don't contribute to this conversation. You have nothing to say to this conversation because you don't know what you're talking about because you haven't heard the album.
Why would I listen to this shit?
No, because you don't know what you're talking about. You didn't hear the album,
Right,
so you're out here
right.
just
I
talking
don't know
to
what
the
I'm talking
moon.
about.
Let him talk.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Right,
Joe and Royce dropped it.
right,
I would listen to it.
right.
Let him voice his opinion. We're all
Because
opinionated.
that's the love I have for hip hop. I would listen to their album, and if it was fire, I would say, "Oh, Royce and Joe dropped a fire album. This album is fire, bro."
I don't believe it, Maria. I've never heard
And
you
you're missing
compliment
out
Joe
over
music
your
ever.
I
emotions.
refuse.
Your
Can't be.
emotions got you fucked up and not listening to it. It don't got nothing to do with them. It's your
Ain't no real
emotions.
Slaughterhouse fan gonna listen to that album and be like, yeah,
I
this is
am.
Every
what I always
Slaughterhouse
wanted from
fan is listening
Slaughterhouse.
to the album.
This
Every
is what I
Slaughterhouse
always
fan
wanted
is
from
listening to
Slaughterhouse.
it.
I wanted to hear what Joel think about
Yo,
Royce and
Marie, hold on.
Marie,
Marie, hold
I'm
on.
a
Hold on. I
real
got this.
Slaughterhouse fan.
Wait, hold on,
Get
Marie.
the
Yo,
fuck out of here,
you
dude.
know who
You
listened to
sound
it?
just as corny as they do.
You know
Yo,
who
take
listened
a
to it?
breath.
You know who listened
Take
to
a
it?
breath.
Joe Budden and Royce the 5'9" listened to it. You're gonna hear it on the podcast. They listen to it. Everybody I know who
Wonderful.
listens to Slaughterhouse has listened to this album, except you, and yet you in here
Good.
talking and you sounding
Good.
crazy.
Good.
Yo, why are you talking, dog? You ain't even hear it. So,
would
Faith,
just
this is what we doing, Faith? Yo,
Dash,
Faith, this what we doing? You want to talk hip hop with me, and I ain't heard the album? That's how
Good.
we doing it in 2022.
Yep.
Come on, man. You ain't contributing, man. You ain't hear the album, so you don't know what you talking about.
So when I
Why would I listen to some bullshit like this?
you didn't listen
Listen.
to No Vaseline?
It's bullshit. What?
Did you listen to No Vaseline when Cube left NWA?
Hell yeah.
Did you listen to 100 Miles and Running by NWA?
Hell yeah.
So then what the fuck? What's the difference?
Big difference. Huge difference.
Not really.
Huge difference.
Listen, I'm probably the biggest Joe Budden fan you'll find, and even I listened to the album.
Thank you. So, Maria, you can't, Maria, it's impossible to debate someone who hasn't heard the album. So the name of this is Reaction.
I'm not,
It's Reaction to the
I don't
Rise and
fall for
Fall of
sucker moves.
Slaughterhouse.
I don't do that shit.
Hey, Dash, I'll be in.
I don't fall for sucker shit. They should have just called it hard and kept it pushing.
Okay, great, brother,
nope.
great, brother. You have nothing to add. You add no value to this conversation. I'd rather speak to people who actually heard the album because that's the name of the Twitter space. So, Emilio, what you thought about the album?
No, it's just reaction to the album. That's my reaction. It's sucker shit.
Okay, you made your point. You control somewhere else. Go ahead, Emilio.
The album was dope. The lyricist was dope. The production was there, but I mean, they made it happen. I wish it could have been a Slaughterhouse album, but they kind of all fell sideways.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later, Watson. I'll
All
be
right.
in later, Dash.
All right, talk to you later, Maria.
Peace.
Yo, I got a question.
Peace, Maria.
Blush
So
Move or Michael. Yeah, what y'all thought about it? Well, first of all, did you hear the album?
I did. I thought
Okay,
the
thought.
album was super dope. Definitely gonna be replaying it. Still just going back and catching shit. I wanted to ask y'all. I've seen this narrative going around that Crook is subbing Royce on Brothers Keeper 2, saying that he stole his flow and ran with it. What do y'all think about that?
I think that's ridiculous. Crooked I is a master of all flows, so I'm not even entertaining that. What he displayed on this album, he literally was going into different pockets of different flows on numerous songs.
No. So people are saying that Crook is subbing Royce, not that Royce is subbing Crook. Crook is saying that Royce stole his flow. Apparently, is what people are saying.
I didn't hear it that way. I didn't hear it that way.
Because
I didn't look at that way.
even Vish got on his Instagram and was talking about it, or Twitter or something was
No.
talking about it.
I understand that, but in hip hop, everybody evolves their flow or emulates other flows. So I didn't see it. I didn't see it as that.
I just thought it was interesting because when I listened to it, I mean, I've heard Crook say basically that same shit on other songs. So I just thought it was funny that people assumed that he was talking about Royce. Because I've seen a lot of people mad about it. But I thought the album was dope, man. I think that the whole misconception about it being like a diss album is dumb. I think it was just a way for them to end this chapter of their lives, because I'll be the first motherfucker in their mentions like, yo, when you drop a Slaughterhouse, yo, Leak Glass House, this and that. Like, I'm sure they got tired of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's been a lot of years of people begging them for music and shit. So I think it's dope that they finally got to move on. I agree that, like, yeah, they probably could have named the album Hard 2 and the content wouldn't have shifted that much, but I don't think it would have had the reach and got to all the fans that it got to, which is, I think, kind of their point. But I don't know, like everything is marketing, man. Like it's the business. Like that's just what it is.
Yeah, Mike, and that Joe and Royce were saying like they feel exploited that they had to take that route. That's where a lot of that frustration comes from.
That's the
And
whole point. They had to
I
use the
feel that.
brand for reach.
I
But
feel
it's their
that, but
brand too,
at the
though.
same
Wouldn't you say
time,
that, D? Wouldn't you say that, D? That it's they have as much say so because they're part of that brand. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, of course it's their brand too, but I mean like the whole like lighting the pig on fire, like I'm not shocked that that offends Joe and Royce. Like they basically tore down the brand to say that they're done with it, and there's 2 other members that are a part of that group. So if we're going to tear it down, we're going to tear down the 4 of us, not 2 of us. I don't think it's fair that 2 people got to decide to tear it down.
Right.
that's the thing though. Those 2 people are leaving. They're done. Like it's not like they just made the executive decision. Like they're done with the group.
And
So
then Royce said,
that's
so
why,
sign your
like,
rights over legally.
They got to
Legally be
sign
done
those
with it.
forms.
but that's why when Royce is like, oh, y'all should have gave me a call, blah blah blah, it's like y'all had communication issues for a whole decade. Like at a certain point, motherfuckers are like, all right, I'm out of here. And I'm not saying that they did it the right way or wrong way. I'm just saying, like,
No, that's
there is
understandable. You're right. That's
there
understandable.
there is no like, oh well, they could have just talked about it like that. It's past that point. Like for this album to have been made, it's past that point.
Yeah, and the thing that sucks, like you said, we would love to leak Slaughterhouse, but with us leaking that, we hurt so many other people that are involved in it that have to feed their families, and it's like, we're not out to hurt nobody.
That's actually something that Crook touched on the album, was like, I'm sorry to everyone who worked on Glass House and didn't get paid. You know what I mean? We tried. There was a lot of producers and people that were there that didn't get paid for that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a reason why maybe M was okay to give him the masters to Glass House, because nobody got paid from it. I think had Shady made money off of that, he would have been like, nah, I ain't giving you these, you know what I mean? Even though M doesn't need money, you know what I mean? He's the last person that's gonna need money in hip hop, but it's still the fact remains, you know. I know I said jokingly, M put the hit out on Joe or whatever, but you know, sometimes it's good to see M in that zone. And I just hate the fact that when M starts dealing with new groups and stuff, he wants to be a part of them so bad that he gets into this. Like, you know, the first time it happened, we ended up losing proof over that gangster shit with G Unit and all this other shit. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I think M just, hey, look, I'll fund it. I'm not coming nowhere near your project. Do what you do.
Hey, Face, did M didn't really have much involvement with G Unit beyond just producing a few songs.
Yeah.
Like, what do you feel M did with G Unit that was so bad?
Well, it's not that it was bad. What I think it was is that his excitement for hip hop was like, yo, I got the hottest thing smoking right now, and it's always putting it on the forefront. And you know, M playing that position with him with his bandanas and trying to do the whole thug thing, like it didn't really look good after that. Once that drama unfolded, and you know, rest in peace to Proof. You know, once Proof left, you saw M's whole image instantaneously change. He wasn't talking that thug shit. He wasn't talking that gun shit. He wasn't talking all that crazy shit. You know what I mean? I think what it is that, like I said, M gets so excited to be a part of these things that sometimes he doesn't realize what he does like that. That you know, Slaughterhouse doesn't blame M, and I get it. But fuck that, I'm blaming M. That first album was terrible with M.
The only reason why I slightly disagree is because around the release of that record, the members of Slaughterhouse, they said that they was given a lot of leeway to record the album the way they saw fit.
Yeah,
So
and a good 80% of the time, M was in those sessions with them, and that's why I was like, "Do we blame M? No." They're like, "Yo, we actually liked it. We were encouraging him to go on with it." So like I said, I wish, you know, had M just taken a step back and just let them do what they wanted to do on Welcome to Our House, let them get the producers they wanted, you know. And you know, I know M goes off with this funky narrative. Oh, I only did one song, but he executive, you know, co-executive produced a lot of those songs. And I find it very weird. Besides Crook grumbling in the beginning of Slaughterhouse, that M is the first voice you hear.
then how does that explain Eminem being hands off with Glasshouse?
Well, he wasn't, if you remember, because of the backlash that happened with Welcome to Our House. It's when he took a seat back, and we're gonna put this in Just Blaze's desk, and you guys do what you want. I'll fund it. But then, as you know, people weren't getting paid. Things started happening. They started this whole inner turmoil. Then next thing you know, Joe's on Everyday Struggle talking about that terrible M song that came out, and then he's looked at like the bad guy just because he's signed to somebody. But you know, I ain't mad at Joe. Like, just because I'm signing you don't mean I gotta kiss your ass. If the song is trash, the song is trash, and I'm gonna keep it real. There's nothing wrong with that. Some
Hey,
people
Face,
respect real.
do
Yo,
could you go to your supervisor and just say, I don't like the way you're managing, you know, the company?
you know what? Let me tell you something, Bash. Smooth, tell these niggas I got the audacity to look the boss in his face and tell him to relinquish rights to me.
Even if you have other people who that decision would affect.
You know, at that point, you're speaking about me and I'd say it to somebody ASAP. If I feel I can do a better job and I know I can do a better job, I will do a better job.
Mm. Okay. Anybody else? What are their feelings about it?
So I reviewed the album on PSA Hip Hop Reloaded, right? And at the end of the review, me and my co-host Lee Letterman, we gave our mics. He gave it between 4 and 4.5, and I gave it 5 mics, and I explained why. I said it was because of it had content, it had lyricism, it had storytelling. They told their stories, and I made it very personal in terms of saying this is how I think. I'm not saying this is a general consensus. It's how everybody should review it. I'm just saying, for me personally, it was a 5 mic album because there were no skips for me. I liked every song. I'm someone who gets high off of hearing high level lyricism. I OD on it. That's my drug of choice. Listening to ill lyricism, especially ill MCs. So that's how I looked at it. And many people disagree with me, and that's fine and that's okay. And the thing that's just so disappointing about this entire thing is that it changed into a non-hip hop discussion. And that's the thing that's just the most disappointing of it, because most of the people who are talking behind the scenes, industry, business stuff. And all I want to ask people is, well, what did you think about the actual rapping? The thing that makes everybody, rapping is the identity of all four of these rappers. It's why we know each and every one of them. And yet this whole conversation didn't, end that way. And another thing is, it's shameful how everybody's acting like this is the first time a group broke up, and groups didn't rap about why groups broke up. This happens all the time, and it's not just hip hop. It's in all kind of groups. But that's just my 2 cents.
What about you, Vanna?
Oh, well, I already said I agree with Watson. It's a 5 mic. There was no skips for me. Basically, everything he said, I agree.
What about you, Emilio?
Same thing. I agree. It's 5 mics, and it's a dope CD or album or MP3 or whatever you guys hear it from. So it's great.
Does anybody think that there'll be a deluxe edition of this album where Crook and Joel they'll write some fresh new material now
Well,
that
there is a deluxe edition. I don't know if they're gonna drop anything extra.
I would love to see them do it just because they done taken so much shrapnel and bullets that it would only like it would it's almost like they would feel justified just letting it go all out into lyrical warfare because everything has been, you know, so disrespectful, leading up to it. Anybody else feel that way?
I don't think that Crook has that energy for them. I think maybe Joel does, but I don't think Crook has that energy for them.
I think Royce got that energy for Crook. I'll tell you that.
He definitely does. That podcast, I don't know if y'all listened to it. I think it came out yesterday, but Royce was talking real spicy. They had to edit him out like 6-7 times.
Yeah, he mentioned some names, and Royce got the fire for both of them. I have a feeling Royce is pretty much done. And honestly, if Crook and Joel, if they're out, sign those papers, give them up. You know. And
Okay,
and
so
I was also
so
gonna say something to Watson, like in regards to having awesome raps and stuff like that. Like I feel you, I agree, but sometimes the premise of a project isn't based upon rapping ability. It's about the direction of what's happening, how cohesive, how well everything is married together. Because we've seen it happen. Look at Cannabis, amazing MC, and he gets overlooked all the time.
My thing is, Crook has always put out very like polarizing political albums, so it's not really a surprise to me. I feel like most of the people that are shook are like Slaughterhouse fans strictly, or haven't dove into his discography that much. But like for me personally, I would say this is probably like a top 5 Crook project for me. I wouldn't put it above a lot of his other work, but I think that it was necessary for them to kind of get this off of their chest. But at the same time, like, Crook has said a lot crazier shit than anything he said in this album. Like, just to keep it 100. The only thing this album was just him speaking facts on his perspective of what happened. That was pretty much it. Like, I've heard him say a lot crazier shit on, like, Good versus Evil, Psalm 82:6. Like, a lot of his other shit is a lot more vulgar and political and graphic. So I don't know. I think people should just listen to the music, man. Like, all this talking and Instagram and social media is just extra bullshit to try to. I mean, I don't even know, like, what Royce and Joe feel like they get out of it other than clicks at this point. But I don't know, man. I just think that people are overreacting based on the rollout. But the music itself, I thought was really beautiful.
I mean, they got the same thing out of it as Joel and Crook. I mean, they're speaking about it. That was just their way to release on it, you know? And like I said, I don't think Joe and Royce are wrong.
Me neither.
My thing is, though, like, Royce is a top level MC. Like, his last 2 albums, fucking incredible. So, like, just get in the booth and talk about it, dog. Like, that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, but if Royce goes in the booth, it's gonna be Venom.
A couple days ago on IG, I think he was, as a matter of fact, he was talking to Free Letterman, and he said he was going to go on I-95 soon. So if that's the case, it will be interesting. Will he go into Malcolm mode, or will it just be Silence of Lambda mode?
And that's another thing Joe, or not Joe, the Royce was saying on Joe's podcast is, like, if I didn't have that energy for Lupe, how am I gonna have that energy now? But I don't know, man. I think Royce is an incredible lyricist, but as far as, like, some of his views outside of the music, like, is a little bit questionable, just for me personally. But I just think that if he were to fire at them, it's not going to end well for him, just because of the way that he's presented himself really over, like, the past year. There's a lot of shit that they could throw back at him.
I don't know, man. Royce has been killing it. You know, that LA Leakers freestyle with the Fibonacci sequence was fucking amazing. Like,
No, Royce is nice. Royce is in my top 5. Like, no disrespect to him as an artist.
I mean, I hate to be that guy, and I don't want to make this sound like what it isn't, but I think Royce is probably the only the only person who can honestly take both Crook and Joel on at the same time.
He could, but I feel like when it comes to rap beef, it's not always about how well you can rap. And I feel like just some of the shit that Royce has done, just really low-hanging fruit and super easy to punch at him.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. But, you know, at the same token, Royce knows he can't be a slouch around these two gentlemen. And not for nothing, when Crook lets off, he's going to fuck off. When Joel goes off, he's going to fuck off. When Royce goes to fuck off, he's going to fuck off. So it's going to be crazy. If that comes down to it, I wouldn't want
Part of me
as
as a hip-hop head really wants the beef to happen, but also, like, these are human beings, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sitting here shaking the table like, yeah, fight. Like, I'm not on that type of energy, but I think it would be dope just to see them go back and forth. I think it would have been dope